Yeah, good afternoon, everyone, and good evening to those of you joining from Europe, like Santiago and me in this case. My name is Sinem Kochkanel. I'm a physician scientist at the University Hospital here in Frankfurt, Germany, and chair of the communication subcommittee at the ATS RCMB Early Career Working Group. And on behalf of our cross assembly committee, which is represented by RCMB, RSF, critical care, environmental and occupational health, as well as pediatric assemblies, thank you for joining. And I see that people are still joining the webinar and our conversation here. It's been a super exciting process putting this together. I enjoyed every minute of it. We called this webinar Communicating Science in an Era of Skepticism. And I think the title hopefully resonates with many of you. At least it did with us while we were working towards this webinar. Just to set the context before we get into it, I think as early career researchers, we are navigating something our mentors that maybe face in quite the same way, maybe also a little bit in a different way. Um, at the same time, it seems we are even navigating a more challenging public perception of science these days. So we publish, we present, but increasingly, I think our work needs to be explained to different audiences. And I think most of us are not trained in it. So I'm very much looking forward to today's conversation. Um, we have three remarkable experts who I quickly want to introduce and who have spent their careers at this intersection doing science and communicating it effectively, often in the face of industry opposition, political pressure, I believe, public skepticism. So they are here to share what they have learned so we can learn from their experience. So I am super honored to introduce you Dr. Jonathan Samet, who's a pulmonologist, epidemiologist, and professor at the Colorado School of Public Health, where he served as dean. He has spent decades at the front lines of contested science, understanding both, shaping both scientific understanding and public policy. And I'm very much looking forward to his experience. Thank you, Dr. Samet, for joining us. And then we have Dr. Mary Rice. She's a pulmonologist and director of Harvard Sea Change, where she works on climate change and health. Her research on air pollution and respiratory health has shaped both scientific understanding and public policy. Thank you, Mary, for giving us some of your precious time. I know you've been sick a little, so I appreciate the more. And then we have Dr. Santiago Gisler. He's a science communication researcher who made an unusual leap from molecular biology to studying how we communicate science. He brings evidence-based insights into why the public processes scientific information the way they do. So thank you, Santiago, for joining us today. And finally, quickly introducing my co-moderators and wonderful colleagues today. We have Dr. Saini Gajai, who is an attending physician in pulmonary and sleep medicine in Boston Children's Hospital, Harvard Medical School, and Dr. Katyana Garagosolo, assistant professor of pediatric pulmonology at USF Morsani College of Medicine. Saini, Katyana, thank you for leading us through this. And before I hand off, one more housekeeping note. So we'll have a 60-minute panel discussion followed by a 30-minute Q&A session. The Q&A session will be unrecorded to make it more comfortable and dive deeper into the topics. And with that said, Saini and Katyana, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Sanem. Appreciate that. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're going to first start where it all begins, which is understanding our audience. And, at the science public interface, knowledge has impact when it's accessible and also relevant and kind of reflective of the public's values. So bridging that gap requires expertise, but also like kind of understanding your audience. And so with that, I wanted to direct my first question to Dr. Gisler. Dr. Gisler, when you transition from molecular biology to scientific communication, what surprised you most about how the public processes information, and what advice would you have maybe given yourself when you first started out?
Yeah, thank you, Tatiana. It's very interesting and important question, how the public interacts with our scientific information. And I guess that we're going to speak more about paradoxes later on in this discussion. But even the answer to this question for me is paradoxical because, on the one hand, one of the things that surprised me the most when I started working as a science communicator and scientific communicator and medical writer was that the public is extremely interested in scientific information. So interesting so that they, as a, for example, medical writer at the European Medicines Agency, when I worked there, I would experience the public being furious about the COVID situation, and they really wanted to understand. But also on a positive note, they wanted to understand science itself. But on the other hand, I also realized that the public is relatively uninterested in scientific information from time to time. And all of this and the difference between this interest versus uninterest depends a lot on what, when, and why, and how we share, exchange, and receive scientific information, and how it is discussed. So as researchers, even today as a communicator, many people around me are interested in science, for example, and not only within my bubble, my circle of people with highly educated works, but also beyond that. They have a genuine interest in science. However, few will be interested and engage with my topic as a researcher, for example, epigenetics, how that works, the fundamentals of epigenetics or genetics. They might show a little bit of interest, but then they will lose that interest in a couple of moments. But many non-scientists engage with me, and they really want to discuss it when it has to do with topics such as gene expression, GMOs, the climate, or vaccines, the COVID-19 situation. So these are things that they can apply, and they can associate themselves with. So COVID-19 vaccines, the health effects, the origins, the supposedly hidden cancer cure or alternatives, and CRISPR edited baby twins and PEDs based on CRISPR. All of these things are extremely interested to them. I've created workshops where I've seen an extreme engagement in it. But why these topics and not the fundamental science? It is also because it matters to all of us. It matters to us as individuals, but also in our environment, our surroundings, and future generations. So this is why it makes science communication becomes more than something that we share, thinking about ourselves and our own interests, and start engaging with the audience on also their grounds. So we want to understand what it is that they want, and how it is, what kind of format they want us to share. So this makes science communication and scientific dissemination makes it extra complicated because there are a lot of angles to it, but it also makes it so much more interesting because now we can find ways to engage with the audience in different ways. And everything matters we need to be intentional with our communication. So this is something that when we start science communication or communicating about science, we are not very intentional. We want to share our interests. But now we realize that we need to be intentional about what, why, or how we discuss things Do we want to persuade? Do we want to inform? Do we want to advance health and society? Or do we want to learn? So these are extremely important stuff. So I would guess that advice to my previous self would be to study the science of science communication and understanding all these angles and really understanding the audience rather than yourself and interact more with the audiences. So creating a dialogue so that we don't end up in this, which now less and less people believe in the deficit model where we're trying to fill the gaps of the general public, but instead for creating a dialogue. And then, of course, knowing your audience. So that would be extremely important things to for us as science communication or science communicators, actually.